And then I had to Google it. Other things, Google's really great. When I would hear things, something as simple as, okay, I'm chatting with this squirrel and talking about this beautiful place I went with a lake. And he's like, don't tell me about the lake. And I'm like, why not? Because I can't swim. And sure enough, I Googled it, and they say squirrels typically do not make it to the other side of a body of water, even a small lake. So they really like to avoid the water. They're not good swimmers.
I didn't know that.
Just a couple. Yeah, I didn't either. So those are just, one more I got for you. Dive bombing birds. This is a huge one, and I feel so badly for the birds because they're so misunderstood. If you are dive bombed by a bird, it is not because they're protecting their nest, unless, of course, you're sitting there trouncing the nest. It is, believe it or not, because the birds know that there's something off for you in your life, and they're trying to get your attention, pull you into the moment. But think about it. These are wild birds. So as they say, our methods appear crude to you, and you would never make the association that something is off and that we can tell that it's off in your life. And so I've actually engaged in conversations with people that were dive bombed by birds, and I let them talk. And then they started talking about how messed up things there were with their son. And I'm listening going, those birds were right. That they try to focus your attention on the beauty of the moment, when you're in your head. And that's what happens when somebody gets dive bombed by a bird. It's because they're struggling, and the birds are trying to say, notice the moment, be here now, look at the beauty around you, look up at the sky. So, yeah.
That's fascinating. That's fascinating. And oh my goodness, that's fascinating. And something that Sandra had sent to me was about camels on burdens and perception. I'd like to just paraphrase this a little bit. I don't want to read the whole thing, just a tiny bit of it that will be helpful for people. And it said, burdens are in the mind only. Something to accomplish? Well, that's your road to satisfaction when you complete it. You see, it's all how you spin it and what side of the image you focus on. Focus on a burden and you will tire. Focus on a possibility for self or others and you will be energized. That's amazing from camels.
Well, yes, because when have we ever thought that a camel would intentionally choose the way he or she looks at what they do, which is to drag human stuff around all the time, and humans. So the fact that so much of the animal kingdom came through with how they choose their thoughts and their attitude, and I was like, whoa, I think that if I had to distill it down to one thing, that's what blew my mind the most and continues to, except I've become more accustomed to it. How conscious they are, how intentional they are. Wow.
Somebody had told me once, another communicator, that if you go to the zoo or you see horses working in cities, which I absolutely hate, that instead of you sitting there saying, oh man, I feel so bad for you. Oh, I wish I could, I wish this wasn't happening to you. I think it was Lyons that had said to the communicator, this is not helping us. All we need from you is to say, I give you love. I send you healing. And I've kind of adopted that. Do you think that that's a wise way to go about if you see an animal in distress? Obviously, I'm talking about not distress as if it's, really, really, I'm talking about if they're in a zoo and we're thinking that they're separated and they're alone. They're not in the wild where they should be. What are your thoughts on that? Sending them
Julie,
love.
that is one of the best questions that anyone has asked, because it is so far reaching. I mean, right now, the Amazon is still burning. Okay. Enough said with that, right? I have spoken with animals in all different stages what choice do they have when they're in a factory farm and they're going to be, right? They're in a concentration camp. They're constantly injected. They can't turn around. I mean, it's horrific. So they have no choice but to surrender to the moment. And there's that one, brave soul that will jump off a truck, and run away from the impending doom. And I had an orangutan come through a few weeks ago saying, the world is weeping. In other words, so many of us are waking up to what, and I can't even say it without getting choked up because it does affect me deeply. to what we have created.
Mm-hmm.
And the heaviness for these animals is unbearable because they are so energetic. They can feel what we feel across the globe. I was taught, this orangutan was in Borneo. Remember the grid, remember the oneness. We may not be able to feel it consciously, but they do. Mm-hmm. And then the wildest thing for them to say, you know, you want to help us? See our populations thriving, which is, right, send them love. Yep. And here's the hard part. Find joy in your own life because you raise vibration. And I have to tell you, this is probably the hardest thing for me, for all that the animals have shared about the power and the importance of human joy and the ripple effect and what the animals feel from that. And yet, when you look at all this stuff and you're trying to evolve, I got to tell you something. I don't know about you, but I'm not like Susie Cream Cheese all the time, you know?
Right.
I work at it. I'm trying. So you hit the nail on the head. Send love. And like the elephant said, this is the trick. It all distills down to the most effective change occurs from a light place. The elephants who do energetic work do not do it all the time. They look for an opening for change and only do energy work then. So, hello, humans, you can't change everything. And number two, right? Oh my goodness, there's so much to learn from that. I'm like, is that really what you do? And then for us is we got to go high. We got to stop what you're doing and raise your vibration. What a hippo said to me is, even in your attempts to make the world a better place, like volunteering or whatever, if you are not laughing, enjoying it, then switch to something else. Otherwise, you are lowering your vibration and that of everything and everyone around you. Very, very hard for people. So that's why, you know, when it distills back to that working on self, the animals really highlight that. You know, they really
get it.
Give so much. They get it because they feel us, because they feel our thoughts and our intentions rippling out across the planet.
And I would like to say that's awesome. That's awesome, Sandra. I mean, you know, I in this day and age, and I don't talk politics on this show because I don't like politics, period. I don't care which party it is. There's so much junk going on, the Amazon, right? Need we say more? There's so much bad stuff in the world. So everybody's got all this stuff swirling around them all the time. The animals keep it simple, right? We want to bring back the joy in our lives to raise the vibration. If you have any questions, comments, or would like to know more about a guest on our show, please contact me at jsalant5@outlook.com. That's J-S as in Sam, A-I-L-L-A-N-T as in Tom, 5@outlook.com. And remember, stay present, step into your power, and never give up on your dreams.